Hey there, this is Daniel from WP103. We have a new set of featured plugins, so without further ado, let's check them out. First one is HeySpark. This is a modern chat widget for your website that is self-hosted. It doesn't need any accounts and it has a modern UX. After activation, we get a new menu item, HeySpark. We have 3 submenu items. Let's go and check out the settings first. Here you can configure the design. We can set the brand color. Let's take some purple here. We can say where it should be positioned, and we can also change the text. A little bit confusing here is why is the greeting is like below. Here it is above and here it's then below. It should be turned around like hi there and how can we help. Then we have messages. We can require a name and email, for example. Let's check that all, and also we want to have our privacy policy note here. Then notification, here you can then decide if you want to have a sound when a new message comes in, and also you can show desktop notifications. Let's activate that. You can then change the heartbeat frequency, so how often the widget pings back to your site. And last but not least, in the danger zone, we can delete everything. That is quite nice. Here we have some of the features of the Pro version, but we are testing the free version in this video, so we ignore that. Let's check out our page, and we have on the bottom left, we have this chat icon now. We can open and then it says we are away. Yes, that's because I set it here in the inbox. I said away. Let's put it on online. Let's reload that. And now we can see replies in a few minutes. So if you forget to check this box, or if you don't put a name, then we get this error message. This could be a little bit more clear what exactly is required, which field is required. But yeah, let's send it off. And in the back end, we can see we have the hello message. We get a few information about the user itself, and we can reply here. And then we get the answer here. Also a nice touch, we have the avatar here. And that's basically what this plugin has to offer. I tested the version 1.0.1. It is a free plugin with a pro version. You don't really need the pro version. It has a few cool features, but the free version itself works quite well as it is. So it doesn't require any other plugins, and it is available in English only. What I like about the plugin is that it is completely local. It doesn't need any account, or it doesn't send any data to third parties. That's pretty cool. It doesn't have any dependencies on other services, and also it has a fair free version and therefore also a fair pro version. And the support is really fast. What I didn't like about the plugin is it doesn't have a lot of appearance options, and also you cannot exclude certain URLs or part of your website. That can be a problem if your website opens like a separate window for a certain view or whatever. It can then be that this chat icon also gets rendered there where you maybe don't want to have it. And it doesn't have any animations. Maybe it doesn't need. Anyhow, I think this is a really great plugin, and I give it a rating of 4.9. Alright, next up we have the MoCursor SmartTOC, or table of content. This is a plugin that adds a table of content on your website. Let's check it out. Once we activate the plugin, we get a new block here, the MoCursor SmartTOC. It adds it above everything else. Bold choice, but okay. When you add this to your page, you get something like that. So I created already a small page here just with some filler content here. The table of contents can be placed wherever you want. We can also just have it below here. And that should work the exact same way. You can include headings from H2 to H4. You have some filtering options. You can exclude certain headings. When, for example, let's say our SVP should be removed, and then this gets removed. That's pretty nice. You can also skip the first few headings. You can say, okay, I want to have only the last 2 in that sense. You have some display option. You can change the title of the table of contents. You can change the style from none to decimal or nested. And we have also a back to top link here. In the behavior, we can decide if it should be collapsed by default and if it should stick to the top. I think that's really nice. Then this just sticks here. And we have some scroll offset options. In the style itself, we have the default styling options. So we can change the background color like that. That's how it looks like in the front end. As you can see, it is collapsed by default. Then we open it. And that's a really nice detail that it shows exactly where we add on the page. And then we can just jump to whatever heading we want. Back to top brings us back to the top. Also, we added a second one that is down here. Works exactly the same way. I really like that it shows where you're at on the page. And I wish this would also show in the hidden status, maybe here. There's a little bit of space that it could show the current heading. The tested plugin is in 1.0.2. It is a free plugin, it doesn't have any pro version, and it is available in English. What I like about the plugin, it has many customization options. You can change background and like border styles and whatever, and you can fit it very nice to your current design. It feels very native. I like the dynamic position indicator, and also it has good accessibility and it is lightweight. What I didn't like about the plugin is that the stickiness of the table of contents only works when it's in the root level of the page itself. As soon as you put it in a group, for example, then the stickiness works only within that group. So if you scroll outside of the group, then also the table of contents is gone. Also, as I said before, there's no dynamic indicator where you add on the page when it is collapsed. And the positioning is a little bit tricky since there are no alignment options. But I really like this one. It is simple, lightweight, and it just works. Therefore, I give this plugin a rating of 4.9. Next up, we have the Vercel AI Gateway provider. This adds a new provider for the AI connectors in WordPress 7.0. Once activated, we find under connectors this new Vercel AI Gateway. Once you install the connector, you also need to install the AI plugin, and this adds a new settings menu called AI, where you can then activate different things where you want to have the AI enabled. And if you have multiple providers, you can then change here under model selection. You can select then which model you want to use, for example, for the title generation. And you can see if we use the Vercel AI Gateway, we have a lot of LLMs to choose from. Of course, you have to set them up in Vercel first. Once done, you can then use the features here. For example, in the block editor, we regenerate the title here, and then it gives us a suggestion for a title. We can also create a summary, just like that. The plugin version is 1.0.0. It is a free plugin and it is available in English only. There is no pro version, so therefore you don't need a pro version. And it does exactly what it says on the box. It adds this new connector, and then you can use whichever model you want. What I like about this plugin is you can add a connector quite easily, and it seems to work very well. What I didn't like about the plugin is the key itself doesn't get checked, so you can type whatever you want into the API key field. It doesn't really get validated, it seems like. It just saves it and it doesn't give you an error message. So, but other than that, I think it's pretty good. So 5.0 from my side. I feel like with every plugin check, we have some kind of a pop-up plugin. Do we really need another one? Let's find out. With Pixel Next Clean Popup. Once installed, you get a new menu item, Clean Popup, and it gives you a few options. We can select the background color, for example. Let's change that back to white. We can also change the color of the icon itself. It looks like we do have to select a icon. We cannot really say we don't want to have an icon. So you have an icon if you like it or not. We can change the welcome title, we can change the color. Let's change that to black so it's actually readable. There we go. The live preview updates immediately, so that's quite nice. Then we can change the button label, and we can have a button icon. And last but not least, you can also define on which pages the pop-up should be shown. You have to select every page individually, or you can select all or deselect all, and that's basically it. Let's check it out in action again. It has this animation to it, and then you can click OK or close to close it. The tested version was 2.0.0. There is no paid version, and it is available in English only. What I like about the plugin is it is very simple and beginner friendly, and it has a fast support. What I didn't like about the plugin is there are not so many customization options, especially when it comes to when the pop-up should be shown and when not. There is also no option to set a cookie, so the pop-up just shows every time when you reload the screen. That's maybe not what you want. So to answer my question from before, do we need another pop-up plugin? I don't think so. There are better options on the market, like the ones I tested last week. So therefore, this plugin gets a 3.6. Next on our list is the Smooth Custom Cursor. This one replaces your cursor with a animated dot. After activating the plugin, we get a new menu item, Cursor Ultimate. We can select the color, we can increase or decrease the cursor size. I think 20 is pretty good, and we can disable it on mobile/touch devices. I think that makes sense. I don't know why you want to have that. And then it says the preview is basically you have to check the front end for the preview, and that's how it looks like. It has this animated bubble. Ooh, that's quite fun. But I notice it is blue. Didn't we set it? We set it to orange, and funny enough, if you go over some text, it turns orange. It looks like this is a dark light mode problem, so yeah, but that's basically the plugin. The plugin is in version 2.1, it is a free plugin, and it is available in English. There is no pro version. What I like about the plugin is it is quite smooth, not gonna lie. What I didn't like about the plugin is the color is wrong in the light mode. There is no preview here in the backend. I don't think it would be a problem to just add the cursor also in the backend. And there are no options to disable this cursor or certain pages. It is either active on all the front-end pages or not. But overall, quite a nice effect. So I give this plugin a 4.3. The next plugin is hopefully gonna stick. PhotoGlue. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the bad puns, promise. This plugin is the simplest and fastest way to create photo montages. Let's see if that is true. Once installed, we can visit our library, and then we find a new button here, create a montage, and we get a selection of 8 different templates to choose from. Let's take this floating circle. We select then the first image. Let's take that juicy hamburger. And a cat, why not? So each of these templates gives us different options where we can size, reposition things. We can, for example, move that up. And funny enough, then the picture disappears. Okay. Yeah, we need to move that. It positions it at the beginning, but then you have to somehow move it around. We can zoom it in a little bit, position it again till we're happy. Let's change the border color, maybe to red. Alright, make it a little bit bigger. And we can also change the roundness. As I said, every template has a little bit different options. Then we create a montage, and I would say that was pretty simple indeed. And if you want to add a picture via the block editor and we forgot to make our montage, we can still do that. There is a button that opens then this selector. We just choose one and create a montage. And if we don't select any pictures, then we just have the placeholders here. PhotoGlue is in version 1.0.0. It is a free plugin. There is no pro version, and is available in English and French. What I like about the plugin is it is really easy to use. It has 8 layouts or templates, which are highly customizable. And there's just not a lot of friction. You click on it, you select it, you drag it around, and it just works. What I didn't like about the plugin is that the created montage, whatever, you cannot edit them after they got created. So you have to just recreate the whole thing if you want to make any changes, and you have no options for the output size or format. It just outputs it as a PNG in full HD. But there is definitely some potential, and I give this plugin a rating of 4.9. Last but not least is the 16 DESA Block Curator. This plugin allows you to deselect certain blocks for the user. It adds a new setting menu, Block Curator, under the settings, and here we have basically all the blocks that we can activate or deactivate. They are grouped by the, well, official groups that they are. We have the text group, then there is like the media, design, and also on top here we can say if we want to have this also for administrators or not. Now we can say, for example, okay, I want to turn off all the embeds, and then I would like to deactivate search and the RSS. So we untick that, otherwise I cannot see the changes. And now we cannot find anything under RSS or search, as well as all the embeds are gone. Pretty cool. And that's pretty much everything this plugin has to offer. 16 DESA Block Curator is currently available in 0.1.12, and it is a free plugin. It is available in Japanese and English, and it has no pro version. What I like about it is really easy to use. You can toggle entire categories or like groups, and it supports also custom blocks. What I didn't like is that you cannot limit that to certain users or certain user groups. I think this would make a lot of sense, that you can, for example, apply this only to editors or authors, and then editors and authors have different rules, something like that. And that's it for this round of the plugins. We skipped one, the desktop mode plugin. We reviewed that last time, so for some reason this was still in the current list. Now I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below which plugin you're gonna install or which you're not gonna install. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell, and I catch you in the next one.